What if the perfect life you've always wanted was just a mind shift away? Wouldn't that be incredible if just your way of thinking could change your life? That is something that our next guest puts into practice with the clients that she coaches. Here to tell us more is founder of eLIVate and coach Dr. Nona. Dr. Nona, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm really excited to get into eLIVate and everything that you teach. And let's start with a little bit of your background. How did you get started?
You know, I moved to this country when I was 16 years old, and I had always had an entrepreneurial sort of mindset, if you would. And having to go through all the transitions of a new country, a completely new culture, I think if I didn't have a growth mindset, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at. So I was sort of sink or swim at the time. I developed that, and over time and without aging myself, a couple of decades of studying, you know, human consciousness, human potential, you know, a couple of decades later, here I am with my community at eLIVate.
So what exactly is a growth mindset? You just touched on that. So for anyone that doesn't know, explain that concept.
You know, having a growth mindset is important in day-to-day life, as well as in creating really big things in your life. I think that humanity has forgotten to dream big, and we sort of get stuck in the mundane day-to-day activities, and we forget that we are here to evolve and we're here to grow as human beings. We're here to be kinder to each other, be more joyful, experience more out of life. So growth mindset to me is a lifestyle in which you are consistently looking for growth and evolution.
And this is something that you teach in your eLIVate Club. And I want to know, for anyone that doesn't know, what exactly do you offer to be a part of this group?
Yeah, eLIVate Club, this is where I bring in a couple of decades of experience and I share with my community. And it really started because I wanted a community of like-minded people, being around people that also want to grow, they want to dream big, they want to accomplish big things. And it doesn't have to be a big business or a big life. It could just be an improvement in your relationship or better health. And so I teach these concepts that help people sort of quantum leap from where they are to that next level life that they have on a weekly basis. And then of course we do coaching calls in the group as well.
I love that. And one of the concepts that you teach is dreaming or thinking about your big, juicy life. What does that mean exactly?
Yes. I get quoted on that all the time. What is this big, juicy, expansive life that you're talking about? So as I mentioned, I think we forget to dream. That's the #1 comment I get from people in my community. They say, you have taught me how to dream big. When we're kids, like I have a 4-year-old, if I ask him what he wants to do, he says he wants to be Superman,
yeah,
or a superhero. But I think somewhere along the way we forget that. And I encourage my members inside of eLIVate Club and my students to actually dream way big. I mean, the kind of life that if you had it, it would be so outrageous and so crazy that you would think, oh my gosh, am I in a movie? Why do I have, how did I get here? And there's a process that I walk everyone through where you write out this juicy, expansive life and you sort of bring it into reality.
I love that. I love this concept of being able to really think about something that you probably feel is unachievable or just not even so big. It could be something so little too that you just want to make a change. And I love that we have the ability, you teach that we have the ability to kind of do that on our own.
Exactly.
So speaking of that, the holidays are coming in a few months. We're kind of in that holiday season already. And I know that the holiday season brings on a lot of stressors and a lot of emotions for a lot of people. So you have some tips going into this season that can really just kind of help everyone, you know, reel it in, stay grounded, and kind of keep everything under control. So first, I want to talk about, you know, how can people help to avoid tantrums or maybe meltdowns just from all the stressors of the holiday season?
Yes, totally. And the cool thing about what we're about to discuss is that it will work for children and it will work for adults.
Yeah.
So the very first step in sort of de-escalating the process, especially as we're entering into the holiday season, is actually to validate the emotions. And in order to validate them, oftentimes we have to identify what that emotion is. I find that most adults, and of course children, but most of us adults have never actually learned how to, what emotion emotion is it that we're experiencing in order to start to manage it or move into a different emotion. So the very first step is actually validating the emotion that we're experiencing.
And why is it so important to validate and name that emotion that you're experiencing?
Yeah, you know, once you start to name it and you label it, now you can actually, since you've identified it, you can start to manage that emotion. And managing emotions is so important. It turns out that if you are experiencing a positive emotion, an elevated emotion, guess what? You are more likely to remember past experiences that are positive and elevated. And it sets you up for success because you also happen to be more likely to experience more positive experiences. So it really sets you up for success, joy, and abundance. And one of the things that I encourage my members to do is to make sure that they tap into that new and elevated emotion by maybe new experiences, being with loved ones, and of course, community.
And once you've identified that emotion, why is that so important, and what's the next step?
I think when you name it, like I said, as adults, we don't, most of the time, we either brush it
under the rug.
Yep, brush it under the rug, or we don't really sit with it. So once you identify it, then it makes you capable of managing that emotion. And then the second step after that, once you identify that and you validate the emotion, you go, okay, here's what you are experiencing, again with children or adults, then you move into the second piece of the equation, which is shifting out of that negative emotion or that stressful environment that we are in. And the biggest piece in this part of it is to ask yourself, all right, is this good? Do I need to feel this more? Do I need to process this more? Do I need perhaps support? And if the answer is yes, I need support, I need to feel it more, then definitely seek help. But if you're prepared to move forward into a new emotion, then start to tap into those elevated emotions.
Dr. Nona, I could talk with you all day about this. I think that it's so fascinating and so interesting because we're in control of taking that next step. But I just want to thank you so much for joining us and sharing these tips as we're heading into the busy, stressful season.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course.